Have you ever had a track in a sim racing game that you just couldn't conquer? Maybe there's a tricky braking zone that always trips you up, a chicane with a curve that you just can't seem to hit right, or maybe there's a section that just feels like you're driving on ice. For me, Mexico was all of those things combined into one. With my next PSGL race coming up in just over 2 days around this very track, there's no better time to tackle this challenge head on. That means I have 48 hours to become as fast as possible within that short time frame. Here's my grand plan. First, I'll use time trial to limit test. Then, I'll translate those learnings to a live qualifying session in Grand Prix mode. And finally, for the ultimate test, will I be able to replicate that lap time come race day in PSGL? Let's find out. Get ready, it's coming. The Mexican Grand Prix is situated well over 2,000 meters above sea level. That's over 7,000 feet for my American viewers out there. Due to the lower air density at this altitude, cars will generate a lot less downforce compared to other tracks on the calendar. In a game, however, the track simply has very low grip and you feel like you're driving on ice all the time. Setup-wise, it's a pain in the ass. You need a car that's fast enough on the straights, but also stable enough through the fast flowy section in Sector 2. But you can't compromise too much on downforce if you want to avoid skating through Sectors 3. The first sector only has one corner, with a heavy braking zone at the end. Not many opportunities to make up time here. Sector 2, however, is full of tight turns where minimum speed is crucial if you want to make good time here. Third sector is where being brave can make a lot of difference this year. The sausage curb can be mounted, but you gotta be careful with your steering lock, otherwise it's gonna spit you right out. Precision and being brave with your steering and throttle input can be very rewarding here. First came turn 1, or rather, the fast speed chicane. I found that being brave on the throttle after I hop over the chicane can reward me with a lot of lap time. Part of getting faster is overcoming the mental barrier that's holding you back. The turn-in point for the second part of the chicane was still a bit unclear as I hadn't found a proper reference point yet. So I made a mental note for my next league race here. Going into the second sector, I realized there was a lot of habits that I had to unlearn from F123. The braking power this year is so strong that you don't have to hold the brakes for as long as you did. On the contrary, I had to get used to just dabbing the brakes. Combined with the insane turn-in this year, it was more than enough to induce the rotation I needed. Finally, Sector 3 is all about keeping it together. As long as you keep an optimal line and then you avoid invalidate. Fuck! After a few frustrating resets and invalidations, I managed a 113.5 pretty easily, no sweat. Now time trial is fun, but the car behaves differently in real qualifying conditions. I need to see if I can replicate that time in Grand Prix mode. The first few laps were pretty sloppy, as getting used to the grip difference in Sector 2 and Sector 3 proved challenging. As I grew more and more comfortable carrying more speed through the corners, I also got more apt at using different ERS modes, medium or overtake, to maximize my lap time. In case you missed my video explaining why you should use different ERS modes in qualifying to go faster, click on the video that's about to appear on screen now. I'll also link it in the description below if you want a refresher. From there, with a few resets here and there, I managed a 113.6. Not bad, if I could say so myself. But remember, there is no reset button in PSGL. But Uncle Formula, what do we do now? We just keep driving until we get faster, right? Wrong! What I like to do after a practice session is to sit down and analyze my laps. Similar to how real-life F1 drivers compare data with other drivers to see where they can go faster, I can do the same here. Upon looking at my own driving, I've discovered that 1. I tend to drag the brakes for too long into the corners, costing me rotation and entry speed. 2. I tend to hesitate to get back on the power. I'm coasting through those corners, waiting for the car to turn. And if you have watched any video by Suelio Almeida, then you would know why that is extremely bad. Even when I do get back on the power, it's not close enough to the limit of grip. And surely I can do much better than that. Back to time trial now. It was not easy getting a lap together, but knowing where I can improve definitely helps me to focus my energy on the things that mattered the most. Through sheer stubbornness, I managed to bring the time down to a low 113.5, but it was more work to be done. And after 15 laps of continuous struggles, I managed to send it just hard enough to bring it down to 1:13.4. Whew! Not bad. Now, racing solo in time trial or against the AI is fine and dandy, but replicating that lap time in real qualifying conditions with the pressure to perform would be my ultimate challenge today. But I still held my head high and headed out on track. Get ready, it's coming. First lap was very good. I felt confident and comfortable in the car, clocking at 1:13.9 as a banker. On my second outing, I got too complacent and didn't even improve coming out of the final corner. So I dove into the pits, completely ashamed of myself. Since Mexico is such a short track, I still had time for 2 more runs. On the second to last run, I was 3/10 up coming into the final sector, but I hit the sausage curb wrong, and from there, it was all downhill, losing all the momentum I've garnered since the beginning of the lap. At this point, my frustration was at an all-time high. For the last run, I knew I had to pull a miracle to start at the front. I got the tires slightly below their optimal operating window and set off. All or nothing. The nerves got the best of me heading into turn 1, where I hit the curb wrong, but being brave on the throttle salvaged the exit. Into sector 2 now, after a slight hesitation mid-corner, I managed a great exit and carried extra speed through the following corners, inducing beautiful rotation around the sausage curb, and up to the line, it is going to be a 1:13.613. I simply couldn't be any happier. With P7 as my qualifying result, I was sure I would have a good shot at a great race. Right? Alright? Where am I supposed to go? If you would like to know how the actual PSGL race went, make sure to let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, stay safe. And this is Formula Kai signing off. Bye-bye.